Every billionaire's home has one thing in common. It's not the square footage, it's not the location, it's not the style. There's one thing in common with every billionaire's home. It's an item or items that are inside the house that actually act as a magnet to attract money, prosperity, and success. And the good news is, you don't need a billionaire's budget to harness the same invisible money-making force. One common denominator of all wealthy people around the world is wealthy people surround themselves with an aesthetic called beauty, which means they have items or objects in their home, in their space, in their office that have the aesthetic of beauty. Now, some of these items are old and some of them are relatively new. The reason we resonate with something that we classify as beautiful or having beauty is because it actually puts out into the field, into the ether, a frequency. This wave actually hits our energetic field and it hits our body, which means it hits our mind and our heart and all the organs and all the cells. This wave actually is cleansing. It's uplifting. It's motivational. It's inspirational. It creates joy, bliss, peace, happiness, a sense of oneness and connection with the universe. It can also clear out any negativity that we may have in our life, whether it's frustration or anger or grief. And we know this. You know, your dog got hit by a car and you're grieving, and you go for a walk in nature and you're surrounded by beautiful things, trees, waterfalls, brooks or rivers or the ocean. That aesthetic cleanses you. And after an hour or so, you go home, you feel better. And why do you feel better? Because the aesthetic wave actually cleansed out or cleared you from the negativity, the negative energy that was trapped in your field and in your mind. This wave is very critical. The other thing, and the other reason why wealthy people have objects of beauty is many of them are also ancient. Ancient items attract and pull into their own field the energy that surrounds them. So if you have a little crystal goblet in a home of a very wealthy person, that wealthy person is putting out photons of prosperity and abundance and wealth and riches and luck. That object actually changes its frequency, absorbing some of that positive energy. So a wealthy person will always have heirlooms, items that were in the homes of wealthy people. When they bring that into their home, they're bringing in that positive frequency, that abundance frequency, that wealth frequency. Hawkins, arguably the smartest man in the last 100 years, said that it creates an attractor field. It virtually creates a bubble around the home, the room, the space, that pulls in and attracts prosperity, abundance, riches, money, wealth, love, and luck. These aren't myths. It's true. Certain objects and items do create love, money, luck, prosperity, abundance, riches, fortune, attractor fields. So this is a critical aspect to success, and this is something that I learned very early on. That object is doing something that the untrained eye cannot see. We're in a $35 million mansion. The guy who owns this just said, I got this old Bible from the 1800s, and he lit up like a Christmas tree when he was showing it to us. You could feel the energy. This is a prosperity magnet, and it's creating an additional, enhancing and intensifying the attractor field that he already created in this mansion to attract even more wealth and abundance and prosperity.
There was a Cambridge biologist named Rupert Sheldrake, I believe, who did a peer-discussed study that showed that objects themselves carry the energetic memory of their creators and owners. What does that mean to you?
Well, there's a classic example. Science is catching up with what spiritual masters have said for thousands of years. If a person is really angry, and he's holding an item, that item absorbs some of that anger. And we know this instinctively. You're shopping for a home, and you walk into your home and you go, "Ugh, there's something about this house I don't like." And then you find out that the couple has gone through a horrible divorce and they were arguing constantly nonstop for the previous year. Well, virtually the whole home is loaded with that vibratory essence, if you will, of anger. Items pick up and absorb what's around them. We know this. This is why energetic masters would smudge a house. They'd take certain items and light it on fire and get the smoke, and they'd do a smudging ceremony to clear out some of that negative energy. If you have an item that was surrounded by love and a wonderful relationship and happy, smiling children, those items are now creating an attractor field for a wonderful, blissful, happy family and great relationship. Items have that energy. It has that frequency. This is something that wealthy people either know, like I was taught in the Brotherhood, in our secret society. So we did it specifically with deliberate intent, but most people do it without deliberate intent. William Randolph Hearst, one of the richest men in the world, his home is filled with statues from all over the world, from antiquity, that were in castles, that were in, opulent, wealthy people's homes, kings, queens, royalty, sultans, all around the world. And he was fanatical about surrounding himself with these statues and paintings and works of art from antiquity for two reasons. Number one, they had the aesthetic wave of beauty, which created wealth and success just amongst itself. But secondly, they also absorbed all of the wealth and power, energy of its previous owners. Even beyond that, we know that ancient architects used what sometimes is called sacred geometry. In India, it's called Vastu. In the ancient East, it's called Feng Shui. In other contexts, it's called sacred geometry, the Fibonacci sequence and different things. This is very specific. It's designed, and by the way, if you look at the history of the texts, it says celestial architects. Architects that came down from other planets taught the architects here this science of creating specific geometry, specific mathematical proportions to one another that actually absorb and bring in and attract certain things from the universe. It was poo-pooed, again, by mainstream science for, thousands of years. Now we know it's true, that certain objects create that frequency. We know this with sound. Example, you can have a plate. There's machines with a straight, just a flat plate, and then you put sand on it. Underneath the plate is a speaker. You put a frequency, just the hum of a frequency, a certain frequency. The plate vibrates, and a pattern magically is produced. You change the frequency, the sand vibrates, and a brand new pattern is produced. Change the frequency, the sand vibrates, and a brand new geometric pattern is produced based on the frequency. That pattern thus attracts that frequency. And if you have the frequency of wealth, of gold, of money, it's attracting into your life that happiness, joy, peace. They all have frequencies. This is, again, ancient knowledge being backed up now and verified by modern science.
You learned about attractor field objects through your training in the secret society, the Brotherhood. What were you taught?
I was just told, look, you want to have in your space as many objects as you can that come from wealthy families. Okay. You also want to have in your space things that you resonate with as beautiful, things that have the aesthetic of beauty. Okay. That was the training. We got right to the point in our mentorship apprentice training. Kevin, do this. Kevin, do this. Kevin, do this. Yes. And then the results happened.
You hear a lot about certain crystals. Do they have a high vibrational or attractor element or allure?
Crystals, like any type of baccarat crystal, which is an expensive crystal. But if you have other types of crystal, as we know, again, mainstream science, it vibrates absolutely at a high level. So it's a high vibratory object. It absolutely absorbs things. So if you hold that crystal or had that crystal in your house, It's virtually broadcasting the frequency of money if it was held by someone who had money, and therefore attracting into your house more money and more prosperity.
What then is the single most palpable, powerful attractor field object that wealthy people have in their homes?
Well, the number one most powerful attractor field object that all wealthy people have in their home is a book. A book that was held and owned by somebody who was very wealthy. So an older book. And a book that is either filled with some type of spiritual energy or prosperity energy. So for example, an old Bible, an old Quran, an old version of any spiritual text is filled, the words itself, virtually every letter and every word and every phrase is just bursting with prosperity, wealth, and magnetic power, bringing it in. So books are incredibly powerful. Old books like original editions of Think and Grow Rich, or any old book on prosperity or how to make money. So a book is the most powerful because you have the actual words, that creates energy. You actually have the item itself, that creates energy, and you have the intention behind the production of it, which it creates the energy. So the books are really probably number one. In all wealthy people's homes, they all have old books. They all have libraries.
So if someone is watching you now and wants to attract wealth and abundance into their lives, what should they do?
If a person wants to improve the conditions of their life, if they want to attract wealth, prosperity, love, luck, and abundance into their life, success into their life, number one, look around your home, both outside the home and inside the home, and say, how can I make it more beautiful? Number two, try to get something that is older or ancient that was in some wealthy person's home. Oh, I can't afford that. Go to an estate sale. You can find something for $10. And if there was a big, huge mansion, it's going to have some wealth, magnetic power to it. And number three, get some old books. Do those three things. And your home is virtually going to become like a bubble, a powerful magnet, starting to attract into your life and into the home money, wealth, power, love, luck, abundance, prosperity, and success.
What is manifesting? Well, it's the ability to create the exact life you want. It's the ability to draw in and attract anything you desire. But most people don't understand the true energetic science, the actual formula of how to manifest. They're not following a recipe that works, or they're missing key elements of the formula. Therefore, they fail. Your Wish is Your Command changes that. This book reveals the missing keys of manifesting, the ones that actually work. It's the actual step-by-step formula the world's wealthiest elites have used and guarded for decades to unlock true manifestation power. People have called it the success system that never fails. Apply it, and you'll see the results. This is not based on theory. This book comes from thousands of year-old principles, a formula that has passed the test of time and that has proven to work 100% of the time when it's applied. It is the only step-by-step, totally complete manifesting or prosperity or success system in existence. That's the reason why people who read this and apply it are seeing such spectacular results.